Hello, 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 hello. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Wow, I get a thumbs up already and I just started. I love, thank you. I love it, absolutely. That means you love the program, Omega Live, right? Because I've not said anything yet today. So you love the program and I'm excited about that. That's what I want, guys. Yes, if you enjoy the program, yes, man, like it. Share the link with your friends and family, yeah, that they too can come and enjoy the program. Absolutely. Mwah, mwah. So, welcome, guys, to Omega Live with JJ, Woman Without Borders. Yes, indeed. It is Friday, TGIF, for those of you who are so inclined, right? You are happy that it is Friday, right? And so I must say, TGIF to all of you out there. Yes, happy Friday. Indeed, it is May 29th, 20. This program, guys, new location, right? Don't you just love it? Absolutely, absolutely. So I will tell you more about new location another time. But today, yes, as you can see, I'm at a new location for Omega Live broadcast, and I am praying that this location is a better location in terms of the feed not dropping. Right? Well, it depends. Again, you know, guys, that I'm dependent upon Flow, right, internet service provider, right, and so based on as they have informed me, based on the number of persons who are in the area, in terms of actually using the bandwidth, right, which will determine whether or not the feed falls or not. Sometimes, of course, it is not necessarily them because they have no control over the mobile hotspot. And you know, I'm using mobile hotspot with my data plan, right? So it can be so many reasons for the feed to fall, guys, including even sometimes YouTube. Never a dull moment, right? However, we are hoping that today we'll have a seamless broadcast, right? No interruptions. From my mouth to the Lord's ears. Absolutely. However, you know, if it falls, you know what to do, right? And ensure that you subscribe, you hit that notification bell. So when I'm back on, you will be notified that I am on again live. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, guys. And so, you know, right? For those of you, if it's the first time you're joining me today, a special welcome, right? So you know that basically what I do, I give you the news and then I give you my 2 cents, right? Absolutely. Because you know I'm opinionated. I have an opinion. Absolutely. And you come to hear my opinion on what's happening both locally and internationally. Absolutely. So, guys, without any further ado, I'm going to go straight into the news, right? I don't have a lot. My big data fans are going to be very sad today because I don't have a lot of big data to give you today, guys. And you'll see why in a second. Okay, so according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, there were no new confirmed coronavirus disease COVID-19 cases in Jamaica yesterday. None, according to them, guys. This means the tally remains at 569. Of this number, 335 are females and 234 are males. This number has not changed. The only thing that has changed, guys, the only thing that has changed between yesterday's numbers and today are the number of recoveries. So we now have 5 more recoveries, increasing the total number of recoveries to 284, and all the other numbers are it's still the same. Okay. On Sunday, when we meet again, I will give you the total samples as of that date, right? So, sorry, big data guys. You'll have to wait until Sunday to get more big data. Yeah, of course, you know, guys, that they are always pending. We still have 33 pending. We don't know what's going on. So, of course, come Sunday, this number might change, right? Because we still have pending samples, right, at this point in time. Absolutely. All right, guys. So, I want to get this story, right? So I remember, and if you haven't seen it, guys, go back into my library. Remember, you can go into my library and watch the back issues, right? Because I did a broadcast and I told you about those guys. Remember those guys in Green Island, right? Where one person escaped. He was shot and he ended up in the hospital. They said, dead man tell no tale, thank God he lived, right? And he was able to give his account of what happened. And there were 3 other men who are being were searched for. The police were searching for them. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. Thank you. So yes, the police were searching for these three men. And remember when I gave that broadcast, I told you up until the time they had to call off the rescue because it got late, but they would have resumed the next day, right? Okay. And they searched and they did not find these three persons, guys. So now this is the latest, okay? No, right? We give it the latest on the news. Whatever is happening, we give it the latest. So here's what happened now. And so investigators in Hanover are now awaiting the results of DNA tests to determine whether the skeleton, guys, remains unearthed by the police and firefighters at a sinkhole in Green Island in the parish on Tuesday, May 26th, are those of the three men who went missing on April 23rd. So now, guys, over a month later, they have found some skeletons. And now they're waiting for DNA results to find out whether or not it is the three guys. They know the three guys. I'm going to give you the name of the three guys who went missing, guys, because they were published, so I can give you the names, right? Dwayne Anderson, they call him Indian. He is 25 years old from Mount Carmel. Then you have Chescott Douglas, they call him Chris. He's also 25 from Donalvo. And then you have 27-year-old Sean Russell from Mount Pleasant in Hanover. Those are the three guys who went missing and have not been found. And now they're finding these remains, and they have to find out now. They've got to confirm if these guys are actually. The skeleton belonged to these guys who were missing. The hurried discovery was made by the police and the firemen, who, acting on information, went to Phoenix Town in the Santoy area of Green Island in search of the three young men. It was during the search of a bushy area that a sinkhole was discovered, from which emanated a foul odor. The firefighters and police entered the sinkhole, and after an extended period, they encountered the skeletal remains, which they removed and later transported to a funeral home. The police reported that on April 22nd, the trio with another man went to Green Island where they had made prior arrangements to purchase a motorcycle, right? Remember I gave you the story, right? However, while there, they were pounced upon by men armed with guns and came under heavy gunfire. The men reportedly ran in separate directions in a bid to escape the onslaught. One of the four, though shot and wounded, managed to escape alive and turned up at the Noel Holmes Hospital where he was treated. The whereabouts of the other men could not be ascertained, and they were subsequently reported missing. Sharon Beeport, superintendent of police in charge of Hanover, told the Western Mirror, where I got this from the Western Mirror, guys, we have collected samples from the relatives and sent to the laboratories, and so we are awaiting the results of the DNA test to verify whether the remains discovered were those men. She also indicated that there were signs that the bodies of the men may have been burnt. Superintendent Beeport confirmed that the matter is being investigated by the Area 1 Police, MIB, and the Hanover Police. The investigation has been intensified as we seek to bring closure to this case, she said. However, unconfirmed reports indicate that the four men had negotiated a deal with some other men to purchase guns and travel to Green Island to finalize the deal. The four had reached the area when they were reportedly ambushed by gunmen and peppered with bullets. Okay, guys, my feel on these things, right? I do not point fingers, I do not judge. However, I formulate opinions, right? That's why I give you information, because without information, we can't make informed decisions, right? And so we need information. And so many times we're given misinformation or no information, which is why I am here to give you accurate information. So, guys, concerning this story, it is still ongoing, as you will realize now. There's a new development to this story, right? Wherein now you're hearing that they have found some skeletons, and they have done the DNA test already, and now they're waiting for the results. And DNA tests sometimes take a little while for you to get the results. It's not like on the TV, guys. Don't follow the television. When you watch a 1 hour show and DNA results, then the DNA tests are done and the results came back, within that 1 hour period. That's not how DNA tests work, okay? And so you're gonna have to wait now for the results for the DNA test to decide or to determine whether or not these these skeletons that they found belong to these three men who went missing in April, right, over a month ago. And of course, it's unconfirmed that there were guns involved. Guys, you know how I feel about these things, right? They say there's always an ounce of truth in every lie, right? So there's always an ounce of truth in every lie. So we don't really know. But as time, I keep on telling you guys, time is the master when it comes to the truth, right? Truth reveals itself in time, right? Lies love the microwave society. They love the here and now. The lies right now, they tell you a lie and it doesn't stand the test of time. You understand? A person will believe a lie because it's just right now, it's quick to believe. You hear it and you run with it. However, if you wait and give it time, the truth will reveal itself. If that lie was the truth, if it wasn't a lie, it was actually the truth, then in time you will know whether it was a lie or true, because the truth always prevails, right? Anything in the dark must come to light. That's just the reality, guys. So that's so I really don't have much more to say on that particular topic than that. But I want to get to, guys, is a lovely little story that I was reading that I thought I would share with you. It's concerning this 11-year-old girl in Kingston, downtown Kingston. I mean, it warms your heart sometimes to hear, you know, in the midst of all this gruesomeness, guys, it's always good to hear nice humanitarian stories, don't it? Absolutely. We love humanitarian stories. And so here goes. So when our friend, 9-year-old Priyanka McFarling, a grade 3 student at Denham Town Primary School, lost her home in a fire on Pink Lane earlier this week. There was a fire, right, in Kingston earlier this week. You know, there was also one on Rum Lane, right? I'll talk about it in a second. So when the fire was on Pink Lane earlier this week, Rogeena, this 11-year-old, right, was there not only to console herself, or to console her friend, but to help in the restoration efforts. That is Rogeena Fearon of Charles Street, downtown Kingston. 5 dwellings were destroyed and 3 damaged on Tuesday, leaving 16 adults and 8 children displaced. The loss from this fire is estimated at $8 million. On Thursday, Rogeena, who is nicknamed Summer, was among several children and adults seen clearing charred debris. She said that she had been involved in the cleanup work at the site since 7 a.m. "Me tired, me thirsty," Rogeena exclaimed, while fanning herself to get relief from the sweltering sun. The 6th grade student at Denham Town Primary, who lives a stone's throw away from her friend's house, is heartbroken. "Me bawl when me hear the house burn down. I feel sad. Me want she get back her house, you know, and her things them and her books." With no access to online classes because her mother was away with the only cell phone, which is a common cry, guys, right? We know that. We're talking about keeping school open and doing online learning. This is one of the problems we have, right? The mother is away. The mother has to take, it's one cell phone in the house, and the mother has to take the cell phone to work. So what is the child going to use to do online learning? Do they think about these things, guys? Anyways, that's not the story here. Rogeena planned to spend the day with the cleanup crew and catch up on her schoolwork in the evening. Eager to help her friend, Rogeena has reached out to her grandmother living in Canada to send clothing and other items for the fire victim. "When me leave here, me go beg my mother $200 to buy 2 cups of soup. One for me and one for her," she remarked. Prior to the fire, Rogeena said she would visit Priyanka every day to play Ludi, hide and seek, and card game pass round donkey. "Me just love her," Rogeena stressed. They have known each other all their lives. Priyanka's sentiments were similar. "She's helpful, kind, and nice," she said of Rogeena. Rogeena's mother, Laverne Riley, a market vendor, concurred that her daughter was a very kind and considerate child. "She's always helping when bad things happen to people. She's always asking how she can help. Everyone in the community loves her," Riley said. Isn't that wonderful, guys? Isn't that a lovely, lovely story for you to listen to on a day like this when we hear so many negatives things that are happening in Jamaica right now? Isn't it lovely? A little girl, 11 years of age, right? That is what we want. And that's what I'm saying, guys. I say children live what they learn and learn what they live, you know. And you don't have to ask, who this child is going to turn out to be later on in life. You understand? We know exactly that she's definitely going to be someone who's going to be working in essential services, for example, right? Absolutely. Helping persons, because that's just the kind of person she is, right? Absolutely. And that is a great thing. This is what we want from our children, guys. And I'm saying all our children can have this same kind of mindset and the same kind of attitude if we give them a chance to do so. You understand? We have to play our part as parents, right? To train up a child in the way he or she should grow. That when he or she is older, she or him, they will not depart from this training that you have provided for them. Yeah. Remember, children live what they learn and learn what they live. If a child is taught negativity, that child will grow up with negativity. If that child is taught positivity, that child will grow up with positivity. Yeah. If you abuse your child, guess what? The child is going to turn up and want to abuse others too. There are always exceptions to every rule, guys. We know that. But I'm always saying to you also, it is always dependent on other factors. There are always other factors involved, right? It takes a village to raise a child, right? And you alone can't do it. We know that as parents, you understand. And so if it's one thing, other thing that COVID-19 has taught us is that we need each other, right, guys? And so we have to get back to the place where we become a village, a community of each one helping the other. We can't be a situation now wherein we are saying the child, oh, and I've heard it, guys, me in a business with her because I'm mama so, I'm mama this, I'm mama that. You understand? Or me not busy with him into rank and safety. Haven't you heard these things, guys? Absolutely, we've heard these things. Or me not want to come trace me. We've heard all of these excuses, guys. And I'm saying, as the adult here, right? We are the adults. As adults, we have to be, the senior person here in that relationship and acting as adult, right? And seeing to it that our children are raised right. You understand? And parents who like to try to fight off other parents for scolding your child, get over it. Okay, you got to get with the program. You alone can't do it. And then thereafter, when you alone want to raise that child and that child turn out otherwise, then you're going to turn around and blame society, blame everybody else except yourself, right? You got to take responsibility and understand it takes a village. You understand? Absolutely. And so we love these kind of humanitarian stories. It just warms our Friday evening, doesn't it? Yeah, to know that we still have young people like that out there. And this young girl is going to grow up. And we are claiming her, you understand, for the greater good in this world that the Lord God has placed us. Yeah? Absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys. And to continue. Oh, I did mention that I was going to make mention of. Do I have it? Oh no, I don't have it. I thought I had it. Yeah, I'm in different locations, guys. I left my notes for the other thing I wanted to tell you concerning that. So I will get back to that at another time, more likely Sunday. Yeah. All right, continue with the news. So now, Jamaica Teachers Association President Owen Speed is back in the news again. I don't know. This guy looks like he loves to hear himself. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, right? Making an observation here. I just don't know. He's just always in the news these days. And now he's back in the news. I'm like, Mr. Speed, if you're in the news so much time, what is happening to the students? We want to know what you're doing concerning preparing for those students who are going back to school next week. So anyways, this time he is urging the Minister of Education to act swiftly to address delays at the Teachers' Appeal Tribunal as well as outstanding pension payments. Speed was addressing an online industrial relations forum held under the theme Redefining Rights, Roles and Responsibilities, a Call to Action. I'm quoting him, he says, this theme serves as a timely reminder that we must never lose sight of our core function as a teachers' union, and we must work assiduously to extend vigorous representation across the boundaries and instill a pronounced level of mindfulness that while we learn of our roles and responsibilities and undertake to execute them in a more professional manner, we must undertake to protect the rights of our members with our hearts, body, mind, and soul. Let us remember, most teachers who are waiting to receive a date to be heard by the Teachers' Appeal Tribunal for extended periods, in some cases, periods of over 3 years. We must now seek to get the Minister of Education to act swiftly or simply just let them free on the account of time spent. Our retired teachers must also be remembered. Let us remember those who are yet to receive their pension payment after months and within years of leaving the system. Let us rally around the cause of getting prompt payment for our retired state men and women who have earnestly set the stage for all of us to follow. Additionally, the JTA head shared that the industrial relations have been at the forefront of the education sector and urged his association to narrow the gaps among the different strata and management structure with a view to spending less time on settling disputes and more time on constructive work. His remark, of course, came on the heels of jabs from the principal of Pembroke High School, Reverend Claude Ellis, who said the JTA boss was reckless, irresponsible, and ill-informed, and begged for some quality representation from his union. Speed, however, rubbished the criticisms, calling the principal bitter, and argued that Ellis had not moved on from the decision of his school board not to dismiss a JTA-backed teacher at Pembroke Hall who was investigated for allegedly threatening a student. In the meantime, Attorney at Law Andre Earl urged teachers to ensure that they select the right representatives on personnel and disciplinary committees at the institution. When you vote for someone who is going to best represent your position as persons on the personnel committee. You want somebody who is strong, because what I have found in my experience is that many times you have teacher reps who tend to bow down to and seek to follow the lead blindly in many instances of the chairman, and that is not what your position is, Mr. Hurl said. Okay, so, excuse me. So, you hear the contention. You heard my story just now, right? I only have one good thing to say about this, and I've said part of it already. You get me? So obviously, Mr. Speed is the right man for the job when it comes to articulating the frustrations of the teachers, and rightfully so, because we do understand that the teachers are the backbone of this country. Not one of us, I don't care who you are, I don't care how high you are, you understand, went through life without a teacher. Every single one of us has to be taught by a teacher at some point in time. That's how important the role of teaching is. You understand? So I do get that, right? Our teachers have been disenfranchised, sorry. And so it is very important that we look out for them and look after their best interests. However, we do understand also that there are two sides to that coin. And we do have teachers also who are not living up to their responsibilities. We understand it, right? There are teachers who are there, these educators, they need to be educated. And during this COVID-19, we have seen wherein there are so many missteps by them, so many things that they have said that they should not have said, so many things that they're doing that they shouldn't have done, right? And while no one is perfect and we all make mistakes, at the same time, we have to understand, right, that it's called personal growth and development. We have to improve on ourselves. We can't make excuses and we can't stay in the same place all the time, right? And we need teachers who are responsible, and not only that, but teachers who care enough about our students that they don't only care about the paycheck. And unfortunately, and I know that for a fact because I've seen some, there are some teachers, guys, who are just in it for the money. There's not much money, right? But the little that there is, that's all they're in there for. Not to educate our young people, our children. No, they're just there for a paycheck. And that is sad. And we say to the Minister of Education that we wanted to weed out these teachers. All right? It's not about the qualification. You look on paper and they have a bachelor's degree or a diploma in education, and you say, okay, go and teach. You understand? You have to look for rounded persons who are compassionate, right? They're going to show compassionate discretion toward the students. And we have seen during this COVID-19 that there are so many teachers who don't give one iota about the students, right? I mean, we all know that there's COVID-19 out there, but we all go about our business and do what we have to do, right? I took a bus recently and there was no social distance in the bus, none whatsoever. And it was a norm. When I voiced, my opinion about it, I was almost cowed down. It's a good thing I have a very strong personality where you really can't cow me down. But I mean, they tried, you understand? The point being, you understand that nobody's really practicing social distance out there and life goes on. The Prime Minister talk about reopening economy June 1st. It's already open. People are going about their business. And yet we hear teachers talking about how fearful they are about COVID-19 going back into the classroom. Really? And I would like to say to the Minister of Education, every one of those students, those teachers who are expressing fear of going back into the classroom because of COVID-19, all of them should be fired. I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry. I just had to say that. Of course not. They're not going to fire them. No. But you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, come on. It's absurd. What are the students supposed to say if you, the adult, talking about you are fearful of COVID-19 and going back into the schoolroom? Man up. Get a bone in that back of yours. Yeah? Oh my goodness. I mean, when I hear these things, I shudder. These are the educators, guys, who are educating our children. I mean, it's crazy. Really. Wow. I mean, what are the nurses and doctors out there are doing? You know, and the nurses, the aides, the nurses assistants, paramedics. What are they doing out there? The police and the soldiers, all those frontliners. They are out there, and they have to be out there and doing what they're doing, And they're not thinking about the fact that, oh my God, I'm going to catch COVID-19, so I can't be out here. And here you are. You're told that you should go into the schoolroom and assist our students to do their CSEC for July 27th, and you're complaining and bawling and wondering what's going to happen to you. Get over it. Love you all. Okay, let me lighten back the mood again. Okay, let me give you a little light one. Okay, so the tributes continued to pour in at the Thanksgiving service of Professor Frederick Hickling, who was remembered for fun, food, and family. You remember Professor Hickling, right? The psychiatrist, he died, right? So they had a funeral, the Thanksgiving service for him at the Scots Kirk United Church in St. Andrew. Medical director of the Black Psychiatrists of America, Dr. Patricia Newton, surmised that Professor Frederick Hickling is likely right now doing everything else besides resting in peace. Being acquainted with him for more than 40 years, she knows that his witty, rather rousing nature would not allow him to sit still, even in death. I'm going to quote her. She said, that he is engaging in all those debates. He is holding people to task and taking absolutely no prisoners. Most of those who paid tribute to him focused their attention on the life he lived. Dr. Earl Wright, a friend and colleague for over half a century, said Hickling lived a productive, good, and enjoyable life. He was a pioneer in the development and transformation of psychiatry in Jamaica, he said, an indomitable crusader for mental health. Above all, he was a loving and caring person and a good friend, said Wright, who is a consultant psychiatrist and president of the Jamaica Psychiatric Association. Continuing, I'm quoting him again. Many of his public discourses were calls to action against injustice suffered by the marginalized and oppressed Black people, which he saw mirrored in the plight of the mentally ill. Reverend Dr. Gordon Cowan remembered him as a unique individual who championed the liberation of his people. My kind of guy, yeah? Got to champion the liberation of our people. All his life, he said, he used his unique personality, character, intellect, expertise, and status to advance the common lives of ordinary people. Cowan said he invested his whole being in emancipating the minds of people. He has contributed immeasurably to the yet unfinished project of the liberation of our people in our post-colonial existence, he said during his homily. As you know, Hickling died on May 7th after a long and illustrious career as a psychiatrist and a professor. He was a former head of the University of West Indies Mona Psychiatry Department and was also the executive director of the Caribbean Institute of Mental Health. Yes, and again, we say may his soul rest in peace. Of course, they say never to speak ill of the dead, so I will not start by doing that. But as I understood it, I don't think he had a wonderful relationship with his creator based on his views. Don't know if it changed in death or while dying, I should say, not in death. Dead man tell no tales, but while dying, I don't know if his views changed, but I know while he was alive, right, he was not particular for persons who talked about, God and not God, who God is, and God being the creator of all of us, and etc. etc. By the way, I will not speak, like I said, ill of the dead. So I say, may his soul rest in peace. He was a great man on this earth, yes, and he did great things. And for persons who were marginalized, especially persons who were mentally ill because of him, while persons don't call people madman or madwoman anymore, for instance, right? Absolutely, because we recognize that. Queer persons, they have mental challenges, right? A person with mental illness, the person is a mad person, yeah, right. And so we appreciate all that you have done for the for psychology and psychiatry in this country. Absolutely, yeah, guys. It is really hot. Yes, I'm sweating. It's really hot. So, yeah. So to continue with the news, as we're on the subject um, of dead people. So let me give you this one. Although the person who's speaking is very much alive and well, right? But her father is dead. So, 10 years after her father, Keith Clarke, was killed inside his home during a military operation, his eldest daughter says she has forgiven the alleged triggermen. Claudine Clarke Tracey insists, however, that those who are responsible must be brought to justice. It has been very difficult. It has been very difficult and the truest test as a Christian to forgive these men, she said. But by God's grace, I have forgiven them. I do, however, believe that justice must be served by all who played a role. Clarke, an accountant, that's her father, was slain at his Kirkland Heights home in Upper St. Andrew on the 27th of May 2010. Purportedly as a part of a manhunt for Christopher Coke, aka Doodles, in the wake of a failed and bloody bid to capture the then fugitive in the Tivoli Gardens. Clarke was shot 21 times. Clarke was shot 21 times with many bullet wounds to his back. Corporal Odell Buckley, Lance Corporal Greg Tinglin, and Private Arnold Henry were charged with Clarke's murder. Clarke Tracey's longing for justice will be extended after a May 5th court decision stalling the soldier's trial until the hearing of an appeal in relation to the belatedly signed good faith certificate that were expected to grant them immunity from prosecution. In February, a panel of Supreme Court judges ruled that the certificates, which were signed in 2016, were unconstitutional and manifestly unfair. The Army has never detailed the intelligence that led to Clarke's house on that fateful night. And this brings back a story yesterday, right? I remember I told you about that the soldier shooting that woman in Augustown. Okay. It's another similar situation, right, that happened in 2010. So the Army has never detailed the intelligence that led to Clarke's house on that fateful night, but it has been asserted that Dudus and his cronies may have been hiding in Kirkland Heights. Numerous theories have been spawned in the wake of the operation, including that Clarke may have fathered coke and that he might have worked for the now convicted drug lord. But Clarke Tracey has rubbished those claims as unfounded, completely false, and ridiculous. She has also strongly denied rumors that gunmen may have taken cover at her dad's home, which had its walls pockmarked and fixtures damaged during the attack. I'm quoting her. I have no knowledge that the security forces are making such an unfounded claim. There was not, nor has there ever been, anyone hiding at the Clarke home for any reason. The Clarke family has a strong legacy of public service in Jamaican life, with Keith's brother, Claude, a former government minister in the 1990s, and Mary Clarke, his sister-in-law, is the country's first children's advocate. Dr. Nigel Clarke, the current Minister of Finance and Public Service, is the son of Mary Clarke. Clarke Tracey has fond memories of her father as a devoted family man with a strong moral center. He was stern, yet loving and family oriented. He had very strict and deep morals and values and a high standard for us as children. He was a passionate believer in good governance and order. He was a man of integrity with an almost fanatical respect for the law and good values. He hated criminality and indiscipline more passionately than anyone I knew, she said. He was also a sports enthusiast. And it continues. Anyways, yeah, 10 years, guys, a decade later, this young lady has not gotten any rest from an incident that occurred 10 years. This is our justice system we're talking about here. 10 years later, and justice has not yet been served for this young lady who has lost her father 10 long years ago. Can you imagine? Wow. Yeah, I think she has said it all for me, so there's not much I can say to add to that story because she has already said what I would have said. I mean, yes, you can forgive, guys. Nothing wrong with forgiving. As a matter of fact, you're supposed to forgive. You are supposed to forgive. God requires of us to forgive. But we all know, right, that we pay for our mistakes. We all know, right, that no sin goes unpunished, right? We all know that. Vengeance is not ours, though. We don't take up vengeance upon ourselves. We're not the ones who are supposed to go and do it, right? We're supposed to allow the Almighty to do it. And in this case, the justice system, right? Absolutely. He is our just judge, right? And on this earth, we have the justice system that is supposed to work for us on our behalf. But of course, sometimes we see where even the justice system is broken. I'm telling you, guys, there are so many broken systems in this country. It is a wonder we perform the way we do with all this broken system. It goes to show how resilient we are as a people, doesn't it? We are resilient people because with all this broken system that we are dealing with in the justice system, education system, health system, right? I mean, this is why I was kind of, I really was upset, but I had to look at Dr. Phillips differently the other day when he was taking on Dr. Nigel Clarke, because as far as I'm concerned, the finance department seems to be one of the few ministries that are actually functioning properly in this country. I mean, and it's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but Dr. Nigel Clarke, I think, is doing a wonderful job as a finance minister. In my lifetime, as far as I can see and as far as I know, he's one of the best finance minister I've ever seen. Yeah, so I will not take it away from him. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, but both of the other systems, all the other ministries, many of them, they need a vamping man. The ministry, I must also give commendation to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith. Her ministry, as she said, it's one of the smallest ministries, guys. One of the smallest ministries, and look at what they have to do. Why is it that the ministry is so small? The ministry needs expansion. They have their fingers in almost every pie all over the world. You can't have a foreign ministry that small, based on what I heard her say in Parliament. Absolutely not. No, we need to see some changes occurring, Mr. Prime Minister, with regard to that ministry. That ministry needs expansion, man. But her team has been doing in terms of what is happening. But by and large, from what I'm seeing, her ministry is actually doing a very good job. That's how I read her play. I think her ministry is doing an awesome job. But I just think that the system breaks down when the orders are trickled down, right? So the entry level and maybe supervisory level, that's where I think it breaks down. But in terms of what her ministry is actually doing in terms of in her office, I see where they're doing. I think they're doing a wonderful job. It's not easy communicating with persons all over the world, guys. I think it's an easy job to deal with so many people all over the world, almost 9,000 persons who have applied to return to the island. And plus, you have to deal with the consulars, the consul generals, the embassies, the ambassadors, the foreign ministers, the presidents, the prime ministers. I mean, all over the world, wherever Jamaicans are. That's not an easy job. That's not that much. They must be commended. And I give, commendation where commendation is due. And I really do lift my hat to that minister. Absolutely. Yes, guys. So, continuing with the news. So, despite the establishment of a pre-shipment, and I have to give you this one. I didn't give it to you this morning, so I'm giving it to you now. Despite the establishment of a pre-shipment regime by the government to protect to protect consumers, unsuspecting Jamaicans are still being deceived by unscrupulous used car dealers who are rolling back the mileage generated on vehicles in the country of origin to sell on the local market at a greater value. Guys, you hear that? And it's not today, yesterday it has been happening, But finally it has hit the news, and so now you might have some, some changes coming. Constant complaints, yeah, this is it. Constant complaints of cars being sold with falsified information. So, Auto Terminal Japan Limited AJL being hired by the Trade Board to verify the data on vehicles destined for Jamaica. But Lynn Van Hamilton, president of the Jamaica Used Car Dealers Association, JUGDA, says there are still cracks in the system. Yes, there are always cracks in the system. We are seeing some vehicles that came in that we wonder how it is that they were inspected and passed. You really wonder? I can tell you now. Do you want me to tell you up here how that happened? Yeah. There are times that we see some vehicles that we have had to question the integrity of the process. Of course we have to. Though Hamilton says he has heard talk that the odometer fraud is still prevalent, the cleaner understands that the issue has been a point of concern among 195 strong JUDA membership, with open warnings issued to members to avoid such practices, especially with the impending digitization of the testing and inspection process at the Island Traffic Authority, the ITA. For assisting to prevent that, we would have to be able to tap into the car database of the country the car is coming from. For example, the car database of the Ministry of Transport in Japan. Donald Henry, the acting director of ITA, said in an interview with the Gleaner. Because that would have the last mileage of that car. So when it comes and we enter the chassis number or the VIN number, it will come with the odometer reading on it. According to the ITA boss, if such an arrangement is not reached with the countries of origin, any anti-fraud system employed might not be entirely foolproof against odometer fraud, but suggested that consumers must ensure that they are getting value for their money. One of the things I say to people is that in buying a car, the onus is on you, the consumer, to ensure the odometer reading of the car is what you get. Do the groundwork yourself. Be vigilant, Mr. Henry said. Yeah. So you heard that, guys. Mr. Henry says, when you're buying a car, do your homework. It's not today, yesterday, guys. It's been happening for a long, long, long time. You heard them say the numerous complaints that they've been getting. Finally, it's getting some attention, right? Because people buy cars, guys, and they roll back the odometer and tell you that it only have 5,000 miles when it's actually 150,000 miles on that car. You know how dangerous that is? But people don't think about that, They have no vision. My people are destroyed for lack of vision. And they're so short-sighted. You get me? I also think about the quick buck that they want to make, that deal that they're trying to make, and they don't realize how dangerous it is for to do something like this. So guys, when you're purchasing a car, do your own work, do your due diligence. Your due diligence to ensure that what is on the odometer is actually correct. You understand? Right, and it's not saying 5,000 when it's actually 15,000 or 150,000. Okay, absolutely, yeah. That's all I'm going to say on concerning that. I'm not going to switch now to some international news. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to give you one more, before I give you the international news. Where is that story? I said I wanted to give you. Yeah. I want to give you this one. Yeah, let me give you this one. Before I give you the international news, guys, I want to give you this one. Where is it? Yes, so reason being, this is actually something and when you hear it, you're gonna know. You have heard me say this all the time, guys. This university lecturer at University of West Indies is talking about social distancing, and you hear me say all the time, we're talking about practicing social distancing. It's not about practicing social distancing, guys. It's practicing physical distancing, and unfortunately, I'm seeing people taking this thing literally, practicing social distancing, which is not right. So let me give you this story. The current coronavirus pandemic has undoubtedly exacted an unmeasurable toll on the medical health and the economies of nations globally. However, what I would like to focus on is the social impact that it has had on citizens world over. This who's speaking, this is Michael Barnett, senior lecturer at in sociology at the University of the West Indies. Yeah? At a fundamental level, a key thing that I think needs to be tackled is the misuse of the term social distancing in midst of this pandemic. Wearing the hat of a sociologist in this instance, let me say that we should first recognize that human beings are implicitly social beings. You've heard me say that all the time, right? And while we recognize the importance of maintaining a physical distance from one another to curtail the spread of the virus, we should not be encouraging people to be socially distant from one another, which is what we are implying when we use the term social distancing, whether we realize it or not. To be physically distant does not necessitate being socially distant from one another. And if anything, we should be guarding against this. In fact, we should be striving to maintain social connectivity while being physically distant. This might be more difficult in these unusual times, but it is something that we should all strive to do via the internet, via the various telecommunication devices at our disposal, and by the various media platforms to which we may have access. This is more important now than before because diminished social connectivity as a result of physical isolation will have grave consequences for us at all levels as communities, societies, nations, and as a global community. The social and psychological well-being of individuals has to be something we all take seriously as a global family. And in this light, banding around the term social distancing should not be done as casually as it is being presented. Social distancing suggests being socially distant, or in plain terms, being antisocial, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. This is a message that we are projecting at a subliminal level, whenever we utter the term publicly. I don't know who came up with this term in the first place, but I'm almost certain it was not a sociologist. Yes, the term has now garnered worldwide use by people from all walks of life, politicians, intellectuals, journalists, laypersons. But does that make it appropriate? In my mind, he says, no, it is not. And I will agree with him. In my mind, no, it's not. I concur. As I mentioned before, while being physically distant is a necessary evil because of the perilous nature of the coronavirus, we at the same time should not be striving to be socially distant, socially disconnected, or socially isolated from one another if we can help it at all. If anything, we should be compensating for physical distancing by making more efforts to facilitate and maintain social connectivity through ingenious non-physical means. This is not just important from a perspective of social and psychological well-being, referring to your mental health, right? But also from the perspective of maintaining our very humanity. Let the mantra be physical distancing, not social distancing, the goodly lecturer says. And you already know my spiel on that. I don't even have to go over it because you already know how I feel exactly about it. I don't know who came up with this social distancing term. You understand? Clearly, not a sociologist, right? And I will venture to say, not a child of God either. I've been practicing because we're all children of God, but you know what I mean? Having a relationship with our Father is what I'm talking about, yeah? Because he would have said to you, no. You can't use that terminology at all. Physical distancing, not social distancing. Absolutely not. Okay. Yeah, guys. And so now I'm going to end the program today with my international news for today. So my international news for today, guys, is all the way in South Africa. Yes, we're going to South Africa. So let me give you that one. So the South African government says it will allow people to buy alcohol and attend church services starting Monday as part of its phased relaxation of the coronavirus lockdown. Both activities will be subject to restrictions in a country with the highest number of cases in Africa. So South Africa has the highest cases of COVID-19 in the entire continent of Africa, guys. Alcohol sales, banned since March 27, will be allowed 4 days a week. No alcohol can be purchased on Fridays and nor over the weekend, and bars remain closed. However, alcohol may be consumed at your home. That's social drinking. Churches can reopen, but must limit congregation size to 50 people. Churchgoers and officials must wear masks and maintain physical distancing. For those entering church, hand sanitizing and screening will be compulsory. The Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs said cigarette sales remain banned, but a national night curfew will be lifted and outdoor exercises will be allowed at any time. So they can go exercise anytime. That is South Africa's stance effective Monday, June 1st. And as you know, in Jamaica, effective June 1st, we also will have, see, where in our curfew would have been lifted also here in Jamaica. I think that is the only difference, more or less, to what has been happening, in my opinion, from what I've seen out there, you understand, traveling. Yeah, everything else that the minister has put in place, as far as I'm concerned, has already been implemented prior to June 1st. So June 1st, come Monday, we will see basically that the curfew is lifted and we can go about our business anytime. Yeah. And those persons who chooses to work outside can go to work, but if they feel to stay home, they can stay home. It's not that simple, though, guys. It's not that simple. I mean, they make it sound so simple, though. I really thought I listen to them and I said, boy, if life was that simple, yeah. Because I mean, think about it. So everything opened back on Monday, June 1st. But many persons are told that they must practice physical distancing, practice infection control measures, wear their mask, etc. Right? And no, wearing the mask is easy enough. I've already told you my opinion about that. You can go back into my library, watch my episodes before to see where I stand with regard to wearing masks, right? However, with regard now to the actual physical distancing, how is it possible that you're going to maintain this physical distancing that you're talking about, guys, when in some offices, and you have been there, to some offices, they are so tiny. And that office, right? Let's say half a dozen or a dozen person work there, and each person must stay 6 feet apart. How is that going to be possible, guys? Think about it. And there's no way that this person can afford to change office. It's not their place. They're paying rent or mortgage. You understand? Or they're paying rent. If it's a mortgage, they probably could do some expansion if they can afford to do so. They probably can refinance, whatever. But if you're paying rent, you can't afford to do that. I'm imagining, you understand? And some people don't allow you to make any kind of changes to their place in the first instance. So you are stuck with this building or this office or this space. And then you have, before you had staff packed like sardines, and now you're told to go back to work with social distancing. And now what do? Then the next thing is, okay, you're going to say, okay, so stay home and work from home. But by telling them to stay and work from home, there are some tasks that cannot be done at home. There are some tasks that has to be done in an office, right? And then you're saying, okay, stay at home. But then the person who you're telling to stay at home could not stay at home because they don't know how to use the online system, or they know how to use the online system, but guess what? There's another problem. We're having problem with Flow and Digital. Yes, because we're having problem with our internet service, right? I thank God that I went through this episode today. I could see the feed was fluctuating at times, and I'm sure when you're watching, you saw where the feed was fluctuating, right? But thank God it never fall, and I'm still on, and you're still with me. And to God be the glory. But that is just the rarity, as you know. You understand? Because we do not have good internet service here in Jamaica. You understand? And so wanting us to be home working online, not everybody can do it. And if everybody was supposed to do it, the system would not work at all because we just don't have that infrastructure in place at this point in time. So it's not just as simple as saying, okay, go back to work on Monday and then practice all of these measures. And then you have to put things in place because most of these places have to put in sanitation stations. And some people can just barely make it in terms of paying their rent, light, and water, much less not to go and buy equipment to put in sanitation stations and all these kind of things. Yes, they have a bathroom, and it's about as far as they can go because you must have a bathroom in your office space. You understand? But then everybody's going to use that one bathroom same way. And it's a small bathroom. Many bathrooms is like a little cubicle. And then you have speaking of cubicle, you have some offices where are open spaces and some are in little cubicles. And the cubicles are already fixated. They can't be moved. They're fixed. And they're less than 6 feet apart. So there are all these considerations, It's just a simple way to say, okay, go back to work tomorrow, Monday morning, and then implement all of these things that we told to implement. You understand? But I pray for, all business owners, entrepreneurs all over, right? And I pray for us as people, right? And those of us who have to go back out to work, may you go with God, right? Amen, 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 amen. Okay, guys, well, guess what? I have come to the end of the program for today. Hallelujah. Yes, and I thank God that I had an uninterrupted session today. Yes, a little procrastination here and there, but the feed did not fall, and I thank God. Thank you, my daddy, for that. Yes, guys. I am thanking you for watching this program. Thank you for the thumbs up. Keep the thumbs up coming, guys. Just keep it coming. Thank you very much. Thank you, my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, guys. Go ahead and subscribe. Remember to share this link. Remember, guys, knowledge is nothing if kept to yourself. So if you have learned something from this program and you find this program useful, guys, share the link with your friends and family that they too can partake of, right? Remember, in order for us to make informed decision, we must have the necessary information, right? And that's what I'm here to do, to give you that information so you can make informed decisions. Absolutely. Remember, guys, that I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and so you can go over there and like, comment, and share also, right, the link with your friends and family, guys. Okay, I thank you at the bottom of my heart. As you know, tomorrow I'm not going to be on, okay, but I'll be back on Sunday at 1 p.m. Okay, so look up for me on Sunday at 1 p.m. Okay, so you enjoy the rest of your Friday, okay, and enjoy your weekend, all right? And remember, guys, do not let the day end and the weekend end without you helping at least one person. You understand? At least one person. Every single day, as long as I'm on the road, every day, I help at least one person, guys. Help at least one person. We are supposed to help each other. We were born to help each other. We were taught, you understand, to love our neighbors as ourselves. You understand? We're taught to be our brother's keepers. You understand? And so, guys, do not let this day end without you helping at least one person. Because I learn to show love and compassion to each other. You understand? We have to be tolerant of each other. Okay, guys, be tolerant of each other. And remember, okay, that our Creator, our Heavenly Father, He loves us. He loves you. He loves me. He loves all of us. And as students of knowledge, our desire must be to get to know Him, right? Get to know our Creator. Get to know our Lord God Almighty, who loves us so much, right? Okay, guys, and I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I thank you for your support. Okay, and I'm saying, as always, stay blessed and be a blessing. So until I see you on Sunday, God willing, bye for now. Love you. Oh, P.S. P.S. Yeah, there's a P.S. today. Remember, when you go out, guys, when you're going out, put on your masks. Right? I'm telling you, I think everybody there, some people out there not wearing their mask at all. Okay, but wear your mask. I'm not saying to wear it for an extended period. You cannot wear it beyond a certain number of hours. I think the maximum hours for you to wear it is 4 hours. If I'm not mistaken, it's 4 hours. Do not wear it for an extended period of time, but put on your mask when you're going outside, especially protecting the vulnerable, 65 and over, and those persons who have comorbidities or underlying sicknesses, okay? Protect them by wearing your mask. Practice infection control measures by washing your hands, right? Cleaning, keeping your surfaces germ-free, right? Absolutely. And practice physical distancing, not social distancing. All right, my darlings. Until then, take care. Love you. Bye.